The Radical. Fundamental principles of freedom, rational self-interest, and individual rights. This is the Yaron Brook Show.
All right, everybody, welcome to Yaron Brook Show on this Wednesday, September 10th. A day where earlier in the day I thought, not a lot of news going on. What am I going to talk about today? Turns out there's a lot of news. All right, let's just jump right in and start with this horrific story out of Utah, where at what looks like a student rally at Utah State University, Charlie Kirk, the founder of Turning Point USA, was shot just a few minutes ago, it appears, and it's not clear how badly he is hurt, although there is very graphic video online that basically shows the moment of impact of the bullet, and the bullet hit him in the neck, and blood just spurts out of his neck. So it is really hard to believe. I mean, I don't know how he survived. If he survived it, I don't know how. Somebody must have given him medical attention really, really quickly. If he's not, if he's, I hope that he is going to survive this. You all know I'm a huge Charlie Kirk a critic, but I also know Charlie Kirk personally and knew him when he was much younger and have followed his career. Admire much of what he's done in the sense of his ambition and the scope of what he's achieved. I'm very critical of him in terms of his ideas, in terms of his philosophy, and in terms of the direction he's taken. But the idea that somebody gets shot over their ideas in the United States of America, well, it's happened before, and we've lived through it before. Seeing it happen now, here, today, is super scary. I mean, it's super scary. It's horrifically disgusting. I'm not going to tell you to pray for Charlie Kirk because I don't believe in praying, but certainly my thoughts are with him, and I really hope he survives this. He's also a young father. There's just no excuse for this, and given everything I'm seeing, and we'll talk some of the things we'll talk about later on the show today. There really seems to be a growing appetite for violence, for political violence in America. Really, this has been, I think, growing certainly since the first Trump administration, but certainly since Black Lives Matter riots that happened in 2020. That, in a sense, legitimized political violence in this century, and both on the left and on the right, there seems to be an increasing appetite for this and an increased sanction of this. While this shooting by Charlie Kirk has been, and by the way, the shooter has been arrested. Has been arrested. There's video of him being handcuffed by police. I assume that is the shooter. I assume people know that is the shooter. So I certainly, again, hope Charlie survives. But this has been condemned by pretty much everybody on left and right. But there's a real edge to the commentary on the right, and a real. Okay, they want a civil war, they want violence, we'll give them violence kind of attitude. And of course, I think this is more fodder for the Trump administration to engage in even more aggressive action against the left, assuming this, I think the assumption is not crazy, that the shooter is a leftist who is trying to silence Charlie Kirk. This will give the Trump administration even more reason, more excuse to send troops into various places, to violate individual rights, to to monitor people's behaving, and just to reduce our freedom. I think anytime there's violence, anytime there's an episode of violence, is a potential reason, an excuse for government to step in and use it as an excuse to violate rights, to increase its power. Whether it's a war, the violence takes the form of a war, the violence takes the form of domestic violence, or even more so political violence. America has resisted much of that, particularly with regard to domestic political violence. Certainly the 1960s saw a lot of political violence, much more than we're seeing today. And we did not completely abandon the American system as a consequence. I don't know if our system is robust enough to withstand another bout like the 1960s of this kind of violence. If people are going to be shot for their political, philosophical, their cultural views, of course there was the assassination attempt on Trump, which were pretty amateuristic, and now this. But also, this is Chris Rufo, just to give you a flavor of the tone, right, from Mr. Christopher Rufo, who's becoming more and more, I don't know what you'd call it, more and more committed to right-wing takeover and a right-wing imposing itself on the country. Chris Rufo writes, the psychotic trans shooter gunning down Catholic kids in Minneapolis, the psychotic black homeless man stabbing the beautiful woman in Charlotte, and now an assassination attempt on Charlie Kirk. The reckoning we need is more profound than you can imagine. He didn't mention the assassination of two, Minnesota Democrats by a Republican who went to their homes and shot them point blank. No, a Republican wouldn't mention that. So, and the many other violence committed by the right. But that's not the point. The point is that there is violence, and to equate the psychotic black homeless man stabbing the beautiful woman in Charlotte, we'll talk about this later. But to equate that to political violence, that's not political violence. There's nothing political about that. It really is disgusting how that murder is being used for politics. And understandably, because of the way George Floyd's death was used for politics. Although there's a fundamental difference which the right refuses to grasp between the two. Again, we'll get to that when we talk about the stabbing in Charlotte. But it really horrific. I don't encourage you to watch the video, close-up video of Charlie getting shot. It is brutal. It's very unpleasant. I watched it, I guess, accidentally, and it's it's flashing through in front of my eyes as I talk to you. It really is horrific. And I can only imagine what he's going through, right? I mean, I know what it's like to stand up in front of a crowd, and I don't know what it's like to be shot in front of a crowd. That is pretty horrific. Anyway, it's not good. It's not good for our culture. It's not good for the world in which we live in. And it's the response to this is not going to be healthy. The response to this is only going to exacerbate the conflict between the sides. Nothing good is going to come of this. A lot of bad. There's the potential for a lot of bad to come of it, and we will see. We will see how this pans out and how this develops. I hope Charlie survives it. That is the main thing right now. I hope they got the bastard. It looks like they did. It looks like they got him. I don't know. I've got the video right in front of me, and just turned it up before the key moment because it is brutal. So yes, we're in a very precarious situation in the United States right now, and it is scary. I want to watch and see how everybody responds to this, and whether we see any kind of cooling off of this kind of violence, or whether we see it stepped up and intensified and accelerated. Violence is not going to solve this problem. A civil war will be a massive disaster for this country. Nobody will achieve anything through it. Violence will not achieve anything. There is no political entity in the United States today that would be fighting for freedom and for something positive. Chris Rufo thinks that the right is good and the right is right, but the right is not good. The right that we have today is not good, and replacing all our cultural institutions, replacing the left with the right that exists today is not going to put us in a better position, is not going to improve the world. But the world is in a pretty horrible place because of what the left has done to our various institutions. So, at the end of the day, I want to remind everybody and that it is ideas that shape the world. It's ideas that shape the world. You can replace one rotten set of ideas with another rotten set of ideas, and you're not going to go anywhere. You're going to continue descent into one form of hell or another form of hell. If you want to improve the world, if you want to make the world a better place, if you want to improve our quality of life, our standard of living, if you want to improve the culture, if you want to live in a great life-embracing, life-sustaining culture, it is life-sustaining and life-embracing ideas you must support, you must embrace. At the end of the day, the revolution that is needed is a cultural revolution, ideological revolution, a philosophical revolution. A philosophical revolution. And unless we fight what is going on in the world right now with an alternative philosophy, with better ideas, with solutions to problems, rather than with hatred and with fear, with violence, again, the world will descend in one form of hell or another. People have asked over the last few days whether I think we're heading towards a dark ages. I don't. I still think we can avoid it. But some of this, it could really mean, this kind of violence could really mean that we're descending into a really bad situation in the United States. Whether there's other places in the world to go to, I don't know. But the United States could be in deep, deep trouble in the years and in the decades to come. I'll talk more about the insanity on the left at the end of the show. I was going to talk about the Democratic Party and the problem it has with its crazy left. We don't know exactly who shot Charlie Kirk. We don't know exactly what happened, but under the assumption that it's some leftist that did this, that'll link nicely into, nicely is not the right word, that'll link into the discussion that we will have towards the end of the show about the Democratic Party, its state today, the impossible situation that the better people in the Democratic Party, and they are good people, or better people at least in the Democratic Party, find themselves in an impossible situation. All right. Let's see. All right. Yes. Let's keep going with the program. And if there's news, if you guys see anything in the news about this, let me know. If anything about the shooter comes out, let me know. If anything about Charlie's condition comes out, let me know. I'll also try to keep Twitter, my Twitter feed open, so I can see. But I'm monitoring a lot of different things here, so it's going to be hard. But yeah, I'll trust you guys to keep me informed about anything anything relevant that is coming out. Yeah, I mean, much more appropriate than what Chris Rufo mentioned in terms of the left's violence, because I don't consider the killing of the Ukrainian woman an expression of political violence. Maybe the most important example of political violence is the killing of Brian Thompson, the United Healthcare CEO. That murder is maybe more indicative of the left's growing appetite for violence, and the support that the murderer has received is really scary, spooky, disgusting, horrific, and something that is basically going to doom the left completely if it doesn't change its ways. As long as the left supports, as long as the elements, significant elements that support Hamas, that support the shooting of Brian Thompson, and then now will support the shooting of Charlie Kirk, and I'm sure there will be a lot of them, the left is hopeless. And the Democratic Party, without excising the part that is promoting this kind of violence, the Democratic Party is suicidal and unsalvageable unless it can excise this element. Just like the Republican Party, without excising MAGA, is useless and hopeless. All right. What is true? Tim Pool says sources saying Charlie is stable. That's good news. I think the main thing, given the kind of injury he received, I think the main thing here is a loss of blood, right? This did not destroy any major organs. I hope it didn't hit his spine, but it did, rupture a major artery, and it looked like a lot of blood was spilling. So the main thing for Charlie, I think, is the loss of blood, and whether they stopped that and managed to give him an infusion fast enough. So that is the real question. All right. Let's see. Let's hope Tim Pool's sources are correct. Of course, his sources are better than mine. I have no inside sources in these things. All right, we will talk more about this at the end of the show when we talk about the Democratic Party. Let's shift now to what I thought was going to be the lead story today, and what I thought was a very worrisome development, maybe the most worrisome development, is the what happened in Poland overnight, and that is the fact that several Russian drones, primarily surveillance drones, although there is at least one, there's some indication that at least one suicide drone was also located in Poland. The number of Russian reconnaissance drones entered into Poland. They entered deep into Poland, quite far into western Poland, both north of Warsaw and southeast of Warsaw. They went all the way southeast of Warsaw. And a number of drones came in. NATO was alerted. NATO planes were put in the air, including F-35s from the Netherlands and F-16s from Poland, that shot down the drones over Poland. This is the first time, while there have been cases where drones have broken through airspace. There's been cases where Russian airplanes have kind of tested the boundaries of NATO. This is the first time where a significant number of drones, a significant number of Russian systems have actually penetrated a NATO country and actually entered the NATO country. NATO has exercised, I guess, Article 4, they call it, Article 4 is of the NATO treaty. Article 4 is it directs the North Atlantic Council to begin immediately defense and military consultations. So Article 4, consistent with kind of the West and with consistent with Western bureaucracy, modern European bureaucracy, Article 4 basically sets up a committee to study what's going on. So immediate defense and military consultations for emergencies or situations of urgency. And it is triggered when, quote, the territorial integrity, political independence, or security of any of the parties is threatened. Even Donald Trump was a little surprised by the infiltration of these Russian drones into Poland. I mean, Trump is quoted as saying, "What's with Russia violating Polish airspace?" So this is a major incident. It could very well involve. Now, you know, Russia's claiming that these drones were steered off course by off the course that they were taking by Ukrainian electronics. This is not credible given the depth in which they went, given the location of where the drones are. Some of the drones were launched from Belarus. Belarus has not launched drones against Ukraine. There's every reason to believe that this is a Russian test of NATO's response. This is a Russian test to see how NATO reacts. Maybe they were measuring the speed at which the planes could reach these drones. Maybe they were just seeing what kind of political unity NATO had around this, what appetite NATO might have for confrontation with Russia. It's hard to tell what Moscow's intentions were. One thing is very clear, and I know this is going to be controversial among many of the people listening to the show. One thing is very clear, and that is that since Putin met with Trump in Alaska, Putin has acted in greater and greater, bolder and more bolder ways. That is, it is clear that whatever Trump told Putin, whatever Trump did with Putin, whatever Trump verbally or not verbally, signaled to Putin, Putin has viewed it as weakness. Putin has viewed it as permission for him, sanction for him to escalate. Indeed, since their meeting in Alaska, the number of attacks on civilians in Ukraine has increased. The use of drones and missiles has increased. The aggressiveness of Russia against Ukrainian infrastructure, the thing that Trump was complaining about, has only increased. We now have this. I mean, Trump keeps saying that the war in Ukraine would have never happened if he was president. Well, this suggests otherwise. This suggests that Putin is not intimidated by Trump one bit, that Putin is willing to at least poke NATO when Trump is president, because he believes Trump is weak and he believes Trump will do nothing. We still don't know exactly what the nature of the Trump-Putin relationship is, but clearly it's not one in which Putin is intimidated by Trump or intimidated by America or intimidated by NATO. So this is a interesting development. I don't think this is leading to World War III. I don't think Russia wants to actually go to war with NATO. Again, I think this is prodding and testing and gaining intelligence. But it is, without a question, it is an escalation, and it is something to watch. It's it's not good. It's not good. I certainly do not want to see the war expanded. It turns out that a couple of unknown aircraft were also detected entering Lithuania this morning at 10 a.m. The aircraft were scrambled, but the objects were not intercepted, and surveillance ongoing to determine if they landed or exactly what they were doing in Lithuania airspace. So there is a lot going on with regard to with regard to this, and I don't know that we will ever know the entire story. I don't know if we know it now, but NATO's on high alert. We had Italian AWACSs in the air, German Patriot missiles on high alert, and of course the Polish and the Dutch Air Force knocking down some of these drones. Again, I don't expect this to escalate, but it's hard to tell. In the meantime, Trump is urging Europe to place high tariffs on China and on India as penalty for them continuing to buy oil from Russia. Trump has not imposed sanctions on Russia yet. There's been no movement of Trump to penalize Russia for everything that it's done, and for the fact that Putin has basically completely ignored Trump's, or basically snubbed Trump's efforts at some kind of meeting between Zelensky and Putin, at some kind of peace deal, ceasefire deal. Putin has basically told everybody to go to hell, and he is continuing with his war. So I don't know how this plays out. It's very difficult to tell what Putin's next move is. This is surprising to me. You wouldn't think that Putin wants to antagonize the Poles. I think if Poland was involved in the war, never mind NATO, Russia would be toast. It would be history. But NATO could annihilate the Russian army with, short of nuclear weapons, within days. I don't think Putin wants a test. I don't think he wants it. But maybe he thinks he's stronger than he really is. Maybe he thinks he's stronger than he really is. We will see. All right. Talk about another murder, and I don't know that Charlie Kirk's it's an attempted murder, but I don't know that it actually it doesn't look like he's died, or at least not yet, and let's hope he doesn't. But the stabbing of a young Ukrainian refugee in the United States, there was basically video of it was released this weekend. Has really created quite a political storm. It is basically shown the left as being willing to excuse violence as long as it's black on white violence, and to excuse it and justify it and basically shrug it off. And it's shown the right as being willing to use this particular event, but I think more broadly, black on white violence, to embrace racist theories, to embrace racism more broadly, and to create fear-mongering around a race war in the United States. And you're seeing the Trump administration, of course, leap on this opportunity to highlight its so-called law and order platform, to highlight all the crime happening in democratic districts or democratic areas of the country, and jumps on this as a great PR opportunity, which I think is sad, tragic, pathetic, horrible. Violent crime like this happens tragically in the United States every day. It's only going to create real resonance in the public when it's black on white or white on black. If whites kill whites, nothing happens. If blacks kill blacks, I don't think anybody cares. It is latched on by the various racist groups in this country, whether of the far left or the far right, to justify whatever agenda they happen to have. And in this case, again, it's going to be justified by Trump to embrace a a more a kind of law and order agenda that ultimately I wouldn't be surprised involved the significant violation of individual rights, the significant restrictions of our rights more broadly. So, you've probably been following the story, but the story is a black man who has been charged many times by the criminal justice system, sat in jail for 5 years for armed robbery, and was recently called up 911, claiming that somebody had planted a chip in his brain and was making him do horrible things, and he was out of control, and there was a chip in his brain. And ultimately, when the police came, they said there's nothing police can do. This is a medical issue. He needs to talk to the medical profession. And there was some scuffle around that. And ultimately, he was arrested and charged with a misdemeanor charge of abusing the 911 system. Now, this thing with a chip in the brain is something that there are a lot of schizophrenics out there who really hold this or believe this about themselves or believe it about other people. This guy was obviously seriously mentally ill. He's a serious schizophrenic. He's a crazy person, a real crazy person. Whatever color skin he has, this guy's nuts. And that is where the focus should be. This is not a Democrat-Republican thing. It is a question of what do you do with really mentally ill people who are, because of their mental illness, potentially violent, but might not have been violent yet, but are unstable, doing crazy things. Is it legitimate to the state to lock people like that up in mental institutions, as we used to do? And when is it legitimate, and how do we determine when somebody reaches a point where they need to be locked up because of their mental condition? Now, I'm all for longer sentences for violent criminals, all for longer sentences for property crime, for burglary and stealing stuff. But it is not a partisan issue, this question about what to do with the mentally ill. It's not like red states have solved this problem. It's not like red states have laws with regard to what to do with this. Ultimately, this happened in North Carolina, which, while in a blue city, it is a red state. There's no state law in North Carolina that says that you should institutionalize people who might be violent. Now, I think ultimately that is the solution. That was the solution before the 1980s, when the mental institutions in the United States were opened up and everybody was released from them. The system had probably been abused in the pre-1980s. That is, a lot of people were sent to mental institutions that probably should not have been sent. So it has to be vigorously monitored. It has to be vigorously enforced in terms of who goes. But it strikes me that people think there's a chip in their brain, and indeed he told this guy when his mother asked him, or sister asked him why he killed this girl, he said that he didn't know, that his body just did it, that the chip in the brain, the programming just did it. Now, it could be ex post rationalization, but and he has no chip in the brain, but it could be him consciously kind of coming up with an excuse. But he said this chip, somebody else was controlling him. It wasn't him. He would never do this. He said it was horrible what happened. Now, after he killed her, he said something like, I killed the white girl. And of course, everybody's taking that to mean that he did it because she was white. Not obvious to me that that's what he was doing. He was just identifying what he had done. Again, he's crazy. And that needs to be dealt with. He told his sister, that he did it because she was, in another part of their discussion, I guess all this is taped, that she was listening into his thoughts. I mean, the guy's nuts. And crazy people who have shown already an inclination towards violence should be locked up in mental institutions until they show that they're not crazy anymore. But again, now I'm sure Democrats will oppose that, but it's not a red-blue thing. No state has that. No state has that law. On the other hand, the left is like, we don't know why he did it. We don't know why he did it. He's a sick man. Nothing to see here. No conclusions to come to. Nothing to analyze here. Nothing about the culture is broken. Nothing about mental illness is broken. Nothing about the justice system. The justice system is broken. No. Nothing to see here. Let's just move on. It's sad that it happened. Shouldn't have happened. But of course, if a white man kills a black, then that's systemic racism. So the attitude of the left is completely disgusting, particularly post BLM. Right? I mean, there was no, even if Derek Chauvin, who I think killed Floyd, and he shouldn't have killed him. There's no reason, no excuse for him to have killed him. There's no reason to believe that Derek Chauvin did it because George Floyd was black. I mean, the reason the George Floyd case was more interesting and more important than this is because it was about police abuse. And if BLM had been about police abuse, I would have been sympathetic. The number of cases where police have killed people for no good reason, including white people and black people. And there's a real problem about police training and the ability of police to handle difficult situations, violent situations. You can say a lot about the shape in which policemen are in physically and whether they are equipped physically and mentally to be able to deal with the kind of situations they're thrown into. That is a discussion worth having, absolutely. Instead, George Floyd, instead of turning on the issue of police abuse, became an issue of systemic racism, which it was not indicative of at all and had nothing to do with. And that whole situation was, as a consequence, blown up. Van Jones on CNN says, we don't know why that man did what he did. This man was hurting, hurt people. And it's like brushing it off. If people are hurting like this, something needs to be done. There has to be a way to preempt this. I mean, you cannot excuse the behavior of people who are struggling because they're struggling. Doesn't excuse it. Doesn't give this permission. And it does not free from responsibility the criminal justice system that allowed this nutcase, this person who was hurting, out into the streets to be free. So instead of Van Jones and the left introspecting and thinking about this and offering solutions and thoughts about what to do about the mental illness that is prevalent among homeless people and often results in violence. Yeah, hurt people. That's the soundbite. That's the soundbite they come up with. The flip side, of course, is to turn this into a racist issue. Now, I don't think there is a racist issue. I think the racist issue here is that the left turned George Floyd into a racial issue. And, we still haven't, I guess, recovered from that. This is Gad Saad writing about this, for example. Gad Saad from the right. A society that burns neighborhoods and calls for defunding of the police for George Floyd, and largely ignores the public butchering of the woman on the right, is one that is drowning, and a picture of the Ukrainian girl, is one that is drowning in the infinite pool of suicidal empathy. And I think that's right. But there is a difference. There is a difference. And the difference is this: George Floyd was killed by the police. The issue of the George Floyd murder, not that it justifies burning anything, but the issue of the George Floyd murder should have been, and was, for many of us, police brutality. The issue with the girl being murdered is, they're crazy people who do crazy, nutty, insane things. It's a dangerous world where you leave these people free in the streets, but it's not about the police. It's not generalizable. There's nothing, the generalization here is about what to do with mentally ill people. That's not a conversation anybody wants to have. By the way, it's not a conversation the right wants to have, and it's not a conversation the left wants to have. Steven Crowder tweets, "White America, you just found your George Floyd. Are we supposed to be more offended at George Floyd's situation than Iranians? Because I sure as hell am not." Oops, another mosquito. Did I get him? Hope so. Anyway, I'm constantly in this room in a battle with mosquitoes. All right. Are we supposed to be more offended at George Floyd's situation than Irina's? Because I'm the hell am not. Irina didn't live a life harming those around her. Yeah, George Floyd was not a good guy. Irina seems to have been a good person. But again, George Floyd was killed by the police. If that was indicative of police brutality, that was an issue worth investigating. Irina killed by a crazy person. Why crazy persons with an inclination of violence in the streets? Worth looking into, yes. But this is not about whites and it's not about black. Now the left has made it about white and black, and now the right is making it about white and black. So not only are we going to have political violence seems to be escalating. What we're seeing now is basically a call for a race war. Joe Webben, a preacher from, I think it's north of Dallas community, one of these mega churches, and somebody who is, I've talked about in the past because he is a known anti-Semite and a real racist. Anyway, Joel says a race war is coming. A race war is coming. So the right is calling for a race war. The left can only think in terms of race. Not a healthy situation to be in this country. I mean, a very, very, very dangerous position for us to be in. I mean, granted, this Texas pastor is a nutcase, but he's very popular. He's a leader within the Christian nationalist movement. He believes Jews should be second-class citizens in the United States. He believes Jews should not be able to hold public office. They can live in the United States peacefully. But he says this is a Christian nation, and those who reject Christ and hate Christ, they can be in the car, and we shouldn't mistreat them, but they don't get to drive the car. And he would like to see them all leave anyway, if at all possible. We talked about this on another show. You want to blame somebody? Blame the criminal justice system. You want to blame somebody? Blame the fact that this country has not come to terms with what to do with these, with crazy people who, who are susceptible to violence. This is not about race. This is not about race. All right, this video of the alleged shooter, the guy who shot Charlie Kirk, as he's being taken away by police, supposedly yelling, "Shoot me, shoot me." Again, another nut. Really, God, really horrific. That these people are out there. Let me just see what this source is saying. So Charlie Kirk has a private security team. He was rushed to a car. Since he has a private security team, he might have gotten very fast medical care, and again, let's hope that was it. I don't know. 2 minutes ago, there's video saying the video earlier, which claimed to show the shooter, has been deleted because police have confirmed that the actual shooter is not yet in custody. Police have determined that the man seen being taken into custody earlier following the shooting of Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University in Oran, Utah, was not actually the shooter. According to a spokesman for the Utah Valley, it is unclear if the shooter is in custody. An official with Turning Point USA told CBS News Charlie Kirk is at the hospital after being shot in the neck, but it doesn't look good. Charlie Kirk's in critical condition after being shot in the neck. Yeah, they're just showing more videos. I don't want to see the video. I saw it earlier. Charlie Kirk was shot by a rifle from 200 yards. More snipers, God. All right. Yeah, I mean, this is really, really, really horrible. Really horrible. There's the footage again. I keep seeing it. I keep not being able to avoid the actual footage of him being shot. All right. So we might not have the shooter. I keep seeing conflicting messages, but this is from 4 minutes ago, where he's saying that it's not the shooter. It was not the guy in the video earlier that was identified. So we will see. We'll see. All right. Let me remind people that the show is made possible by contributions of you, the watcher. Without you on YouTube and on the podcast, I couldn't do this show. And right now, we've got a lot of people watching because of the breaking news. I'd appreciate the support. If you've come here, you must find some value in what I present, how I present it. And I'd appreciate value for value. Trade with me. Be a trader. And you can do that with a question, a super chat question, or you can do that with a sticker, just by including like Sylvanas just did, an amount of money without a question associated with it would have the same effect. So it would also be a show of support for the show. So please consider doing that. It's how we fund this show. There's no other funding. I mean, there's some sponsors, but it's that is a small part of the show's funding. Most of it comes from you guys. So you guys have to step forward and be traders. All right, let's see if I can. I need to copy some of these super chats because I didn't turn on the super chat tracker early enough in the show, and I've missed some. So I apologize. Let me just focus on this for a second. Oh God. All right. How does this work? All right. Let's see. Let me just check the news one more time. Yeah, nothing new yet on the shooter, who he is, and whether he's in custody or not. I hope he's in custody. I hope they got him, and that they get him really, really soon. Let's see. But it does, yeah, as we said earlier, this does not bode well for all of us, for this country, and for what it stands for. Okay, let's move on. I wanted to cover the story from South Carolina about a new bill coming before the South Carolina legislature. This is a bill that's being proposed, so it can still be fought. So any of you out there in South Carolina, hopefully you will fight this. But it is a bill that basically, bans abortion in all cases from time zero. So no exceptions, and basically from conception. It would make it very difficult. It would also significantly restrict access to the abortion pill, and to even to contraception. I mean, the war against abortion, the war against women, the war against sex, the war against contraception continues to be like a super priority for the right. If you're not sure about what motivates the right, this kind of theocratic action, I think, illustrates that the religious right is really motivated by religion. Really motivated by religion. It's not a pretend. Now, in South Carolina, they've tried to pass very restrictive abortion laws in the past, since over the last couple of years, and they have failed, and they keep trying again. This one is Senate Bill 323. It's called the Unborn Child Protection Act. It would repeal current safeguards under the state's current 6-week abortion ban, which is bad enough. It would change legal definitions and would create a new implications for even contraception and fertility treatments like in vitro fertilization. In spite of Trump being pro-in vitro, MAGA and the religious right are very, very opposed to in vitro fertilization. I mean, these fertilized, are they're human, and therefore they must be protected. So what this bill will create is a total abortion ban, no exceptions. No exception for rape, no exception for incest, no exception for fetal anomaly. I mean, to not allow an abortion for fetal anomaly, I mean, the cruelty of that. The cruelty toward the child that will be born is just astounding, but it's God's will. Who are we to change God's will? I mean, there's already massive restrictions in South Carolina. Already South Carolina is, very, very stringent in the way it's enforcing these restrictions. And now they want to make it significantly tougher. And notice, with everything going on in the world, with all the issues, all the problems, including violence, including, the left's dominance of institutions, and the economy, everything that's going on that people constantly are complaining about. What really gets a certain portion of Republicans, what really gets their juices going, what really gets them motivated, what really gets them excited, what really gets them passionate, is restricting abortion. They want to criminalize it. Not only would women who get an abortion be charged with a criminal offense. God, this mosquito is playing with death, but so far has escaped it. Sorry, guys. It kind of hovers in front of my face, looking for a place to bite. What the religious right is doing, and we've talked about this with regard to abortion, what the religious right is doing is placing the life, if you will, of a fetus, of a clump of cells, if it's early enough in the pregnancy, of a potential human being, ahead of the rights, dignity, life of an actual human being, of an existing human being, not a potential, an existing, the mother. The mother's alive. The mother gets to decide what she does with her body. That's what individual rights means. And the right is dedicated to violating individual rights on a massive scale with its attacks on abortion, the criminalizing of abortion. I think they've got 30-year penalties for women who get abortion. And, similar 30-year prison sentences for doctors who might engage in abortion. What this will mean is that women will have to leave the state, but it's not clear they'll be able to come back without being prosecuted. It's probably as bad as the Texas laws that we're seeing, but note, this is everywhere. This is the entire South. Red states, this again is what they're really, really committed to. This is what they're passionate about. Again, I'll keep bringing to your attention these abortion issues because I think they're so egregious. This further shows the extent to which Hobbes was such a reversal of Roe versus Wade, was such a horrible decision, with such horrible consequences, and how we're in such a really a terrible situation right now as people who believe in freedom, believe in liberty. As we'll see, because I'll talk about this in a minute, the left is crazy, and it advocates for ideas that are just horrible and clearly anti-life and destructive to human life in big ways. Oh God, almost had it. Wait. It's staying too high. You're seeing the war live. Iran versus mosquito. That was close. God, almost had it. All right, we should make a short clip of me trying to kill the mosquito. That'll go viral probably. We really believe in liberty, in freedom, in individual rights. We've got a crazy right, an evil right, that not only wants to, take away women's rights to their own life, their own body. I've crippled him. You slow down, no question about that. Once a race war has significant anti-Semitic tendencies and racist tendencies. These are Russian drones sent by the Russian authorities. It's sent by somebody. Every show There's at least one of these. And he's just staying out of reach. God. Yeah, I'm trying to take it out. God. I think I pulled my shoulder. Doctor will ask me, "What did you do?" I was trying to kill a mosquito. I need to bring a spray. I need to bring the anti-mosquito spray and get it that way. That wouldn't rely on my physical agility, which is not what it used to be. Not what it used to be. We've got a crazy right, a homicidal right, and a crazy and homicidal left. And, what do you do? Well, we've got to get our ideas out there. We've got to fight for real liberty. We've got to fight for individual rights. And that means fighting against racism, against anti-Semitism on the left and right. It means fighting for liberty and freedom. It means fighting against the idea that you solve anything through violence. And fighting for sanity, for freedom, for liberty, fighting for America, resurrecting America. Okay, on either Saturday or Sunday this week, I will do a show. The title will be, "What is America? What are we fighting for?" And we'll talk more about this on that show. But the right and the left are getting worse and worse and worse. And I don't know what we do. What we do. Friend Harper says a mosquito has everything to gain from Yaron Brook. Yaron Brook has nothing to gain from killing a mosquito. That's not true. I have lots to gain from killing a mosquito. God. All right, some more bad news about America. God, today turned out to be even more bad news than I thought it would. Just recently been released the scores, American high school senior scores on math and reading tests. And Americans are now scoring the worst, I guess, they ever have scored on these particular tests, which was started in 2005 by the Bush administration. And reading, which has a longer history, the students are scoring below where it was in 1992. Now, no, these are scary issues. You'd think that somebody really concerned with the state of America, somebody really concerned, scores, not scorn, somebody really concerned with the state of America, somebody really concerned with the future of America, would be horrified by the state of American education, would be spending massive amounts of political capital on trying to fix it. I think the only way to fix it is to privatize it, to get rid of public education, government education, but at least to focus on it, to think about it, to put resources behind it in terms of solving the problem. I mean, we're raising generations who can't read, can't write, and can't do math. And people are very concerned about AI and can we keep up with the Chinese? Well, we're not going to be able to if this is the quality of the students we're producing. This is what our educational system is doing. Oh, shit. So the latest breaking news, and I assume this is true, that Charlie Kirk has died. He was pronounced dead following the shooting. Again, if you see the video, don't recommend it. You will not be surprised by this. That the amount of blood he lost from that shot was so so traumatic that I can't even imagine surviving that. Anyway, it does look like, unless this is fake news, but I don't think so, that Charlie Kirk has passed away, which, again, while a rival, somebody I disagreed with, somebody I opposed, somebody in some ways I feared because I thought he would gain a lot of political power in the future, this is not the way to resolve. This is not the way to resolve disputes. I knew Charlie when he was 17. I met him when he was 17 at a coffee shop in Chicago. He was just starting Turning Point USA. He believed that it would be a high school student movement. He turned it into the fastest growing and I think the largest university student group, student movement. Truly an amazing job in terms of going from nothing to just exploding on the scene the way he did, and just building an organization, building a culture, building a system. Again, I very much disagreed with Charlie, the turn Charlie took in 2016 following Trump's election and his advocacy for Trump's ideas and becoming kind of the lead spokesman, certainly among the young, for those ideas. But I mean, you got to admire what he achieved and how articulate he was. Certainly in his early days, I bumped into him several times in different conferences. He was heavily influenced by Ayn Rand. He had read Ayn Rand in high school. Was in those days a big fan of capitalism and regularly gave talks defending capitalism. Many of those talks inspired by Ayn Rand and even by my morality of capitalism talk. You know, the idea that this is happening right now in America, the idea that this is how we resolve disagreements or disputes in America right now, is really scary and tragic. You know, I'm not sure what happens now. This is not going to be good. I mean, you know, this is going to be more than anything. This is going to be a massive rallying call for the right. There are going to be many people on the left who are going to celebrate this. Imagine if they celebrated the killing of a CEO, of an executive of a health insurance company. Imagine what they're going to do with the murder of Charlie Kirk. This is going to be major celebration among certain elements on the left. This is the beginning of. I mean, it's not the beginning, but this is dark days before us. Of course, any kind of more significant violence is only going to encourage the Trump administration to impose more of its kind of military-style law and order, and this will give them more and more of an excuse to do exactly that. Yeah, you could see. I mean, this is just you know, absolutely horrible. You know, again, shooter. As far as I can tell, the shooter has not been arrested, has not been captured. It'll be interesting to see how quickly it does. Yeah, here's MSNBC. I mean, this is already starting, right? MSNBC, I mean, it's not MSNBC, but it's a commentator in MSNBC saying, you can't stop with these awful thoughts you have and then saying these awful words and then not expect awful actions to take place. In other words, he had it coming, you know, what the left is already starting to claim, and you'll hear more and more and more of that. I'm going to skip the last section of what I was planning to talk about. We'll talk about this later. We'll talk about that another time or tomorrow. Yeah. I mean, Charlie was somebody who went out there and debated. He was somebody who put himself out there at the forefront of these debates. This happened on a university campus as he was engaging with students. If you've watched videos of him, and again, I don't agree with his ideas, but if you've watched videos of him, he's often confronted and has to deal with pretty contentious Q&As. He was trying to reach out to convince and engaging with the other side. He was not hunkered down, in some sense, it's just horrible. Nothing good will come of it, and much evil will come of this. Much evil will come of it. There are a lot of bad people out there who are going to exploit this for worse things. There's already, MSNBC, I guess they're citing the same commentary I cited earlier about this. All right. Let's see. Yeah, riots in France. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Just looking through my news feed on Twitter to see what's breaking. I only saw one source actually say that he was indeed dead. So again, it's not. We just have one source so far saying that he has passed away. Charlie was 31. Relatively new father. NBC now is confirming that he. No, NBC is not confirming anything. All right. I'm not seeing confirmation, but maybe it's out there. I don't know if you guys are seeing confirmation. All right, I got the mosquito. That's good. So he won't bother me anymore. And you're seeing multiple sources. So yeah, it looks like it's reality. It's going to be interesting. Where we go from here is going to be interesting. Yep. Let's see. Charlie was very pro-Israel. I'll give him that. And again, Van Jones is going out there kind of blaming the victim here. And that anybody is justifying this is ridiculous. The better voices on the left are coming out and condemning this, but I don't think they matter. I don't think the better voices on the left matter. I think, unless they really, really distance themselves from the crazy left. All right. Chris Rofo again. The last time the radical left orchestrated a wave of violence and terror, J. Edgar Hoover shut it all down within a few years. It is time, within the confines of the law, well, that's good, at least Chris is talking about the law. It is time within the confines of the law to infiltrate, disrupt, arrest, and incarcerate all those who are responsible for this chaos. Yeah, I agree with that. I completely agree with that. All right. I worry about the confines of the law and whether, how much that could be actually real. Yeah. There's just no leadership. That's the problem. There's just no leadership. Enric says, after the Martin Luther King assassination, Robert Kennedy confronted the rage to put out the flame. Is there anyone now? Of course, Robert Kennedy was assassinated as well. So, I don't, that's the problem. There's no leadership. There's no political leadership right now. There's no somebody who can take the reins and actually lead. It's not Trump. And there's nobody on the left who is in that position. I mean, yes, Governor Newsom has condemned this. If you remember, he interviewed Charlie. I think that was the first interview he did on his show, which shows Charlie's willingness to engage with the left. It's. I'm just looking. Just looking to see if there's anything coming. I'm not getting on my feeds anything really new. All right, here's a BuzzFeed. Yeah, I mean, BuzzFeed makes the announcement about Charlie Kirk being killed or being shot, and people are like cheering this on. They're excited, they're thrilled, they're cheering this on. And BuzzFeed is not some radical left crazy place, but this is the left that celebrated after October 7th. This is the left that celebrated Luigi Maggione. And this is the left that will celebrate Charlie Kirk's death. And, oh God, this is the problem. I've got, and there are two of them. And the left is, the left will continue. Yeah, I mean, here's MSNBC again. He is constantly sort of pushing the sort of hate speech aimed at certain groups, and I always go back. Yeah. So again, but all right. I think that's where we are right now. I will take your questions. Just to remind you, if you're here because you gain some kind of value from this show could not be possible without support from you, from all of you listeners, and you can easily support the show. You can go to patreon.com and become a monthly contributor. That's one way to support the show. Another way to support the show is by going on right now. Is by going on right now on YouTube and either doing a sticker or asking a question. I answer all the questions. If you want to make a comment in the super chat, I'll answer all the comments in the super chat. But it's just a way of making sure the show continues and show the support for it. Wall Street Journal now reporting that he is dead. So I don't think you'd get that from the Wall Street Journal unless it was verified. So there it is. Yep. As I said, many of you are seeing the video. I suggest not watching the video. Don't watch the video. It's gruesome. It's gruesome and it's scary. There's just no point in it. And the video is going to be shown over and over and over again because that's what happens. People relish this kind of stuff. But Charlie was engaging with students about transgender people when he was shot. So it was during kind of a Q&A back and forth with the audience that this happened. I mean, this is gonna silence people. This is gonna cause people to be afraid to go out in public and state their views and engage with the public and engage in rigorous debate. And the challenge we face, I think, as a country is that there are no adults in the room who can quieten us down. There are no adults in the room who can bring sanity to the situation and get people to back off from the complete insanity of political violence, a path that we clearly seem to be heading towards, a path of, again, I don't see how civil war actually plays out in the United States, but I do see the growth of political violence as an excuse for the federal government to increase its power, increase its emergency powers. We know that this administration is very prone to declaring emergencies. You can see an emergency coming because of this violence, and it's very, very, very hard to tell what the outcome of such emergency powers will be and how they will be used. So I really do think this is potentially a very, very, very negative turning point in the path this country is taking. All right, let me thank Gianni and Mary Aline for the stickers, and I know there've been others. But you too can support the show with stickers. They can be $50 like Wes. Thank you, Wes. Paul did 5. Others have done 1, 2, 3. So Stephen, thank you for the sticker. So many ways to support the show. Bonnie, thank you for that as well. And again, if you're here, it means you're probably getting some value from the show. 270 people are watching live right now. That you get some value from my analysis, that you come here when breaking news happens. I'd appreciate if you show support, trade with me by doing a sticker or a question. All right, I'm gonna go to your questions, and questions might take us in a variety of different directions. We'll see. And if you guys, I will continue to monitor kind of breaking news. I think the next big breaking news will be if they get the shooter. So far, it doesn't look like they have, but I will monitor it. Also, please feel free to monitor it as well. Right. Yeah, it looks like the guy who was arrested was not the shooter. A number of people are saying that. All right. All right. Let's see. Let's start with Michael. $50. Do Rand's novels start the process of building pride and self-esteem necessary for the culture to embrace capitalism? Or do people need to have developed some degree of self-esteem on their own to even respond positively to her works? I think the latter. I think to respond to Ayn Rand, you already have to have something. A commitment to honesty, some sense of your own self-worth, some sense of your own value, and therefore you have to have some sense of self-esteem, something. You can't, I don't think you can come into it completely having bought psychologically and philosophically, completely having bought into the current culture and somehow embrace Ayn Rand's ideas out of nowhere. It has to resonate with something in your soul, with something in you. So you've had to do something, and what would have caused you to do that something, I don't know. But you must have done something to make you the kind of person, to make yourself the kind of person that responds to Ayn Rand. You must, and I think some of that is self-esteem, not all of it, but some of that is some sense of self-esteem. You have to at least believe this new philosophy that you're about to be embracing. You are worthy of it. You're worthy of embracing it, or worthy of pursuing it. So yes. All right. Let's see. All right, Rand. Thank you, Rand. $50. Really appreciate that. It's no longer psychologically healthy to focus on news for any length of time. Enjoy life. Keep up with Yaron. And ignore social and mainstream media. You can't worry all the time. It just makes you sick. I agree with that. I mean, even listening to me every day could make you sick. But obsessing beyond that is definitely not healthy and not good. The culture is in decline. The news is not good generally. There are positive trends. They're mainly in technology, but they are outliers. They are not the thrust of the culture. They're not the main movement of the culture. There's health care breakthroughs. There's bio breakthroughs. There are breakthroughs with regard to technology that should be celebrated and should motivate you around what's possible in the future. But the reality is that when it comes to politics, when it comes to geopolitical events, when it comes to the state of the world, there's very little good news. There's very little good news. So I encourage people to use me as a filter. I'll give you the bad news. You'll get all the bad news. You'll get it in a couple of hours and you're done with it. If you do this and you watch Fox and you watch a bunch of other things, you're wasting too much of your precious life on all this stuff. I mean, it's way too depressing to engage with it too much. Yeah. All right, let's see what happens. Let's see how this plays out. All right. What is it? Eat something. All right. Did you see Congress showed a 2024 video of a U.S. Reaper firing $1 million Hellfire at a glowing orb off Yemen? Either it's first contact, America shoots to kill, or it's just a shiny balloon. What a time to be alive. God bless America. I doubt it's first contact. Who knows what it is? There are lots of things out there. There are lots of atmospheric illusions as well. There are lots of shiny balloons. There are lots of all kinds of stuff that happens to be out there. Making big grandiose claims requires big grandiose evidence, and I don't see the big grandiose evidence of first contact so far. So I have no idea what it is. But if it is for contact, why would they be in Yemen? I'm kidding, but maybe not. Anyway, thank you for the wow. That's $45. I appreciate that. It's an amazing time to be alive. Yes, for better and for worse, no question. And alive is the emphasis that we should be the thing we should be emphasizing right now. I'm just following to see what is happening. Yeah. All right. Barry, my friend says that everybody has intrinsic value, and that is where your self-esteem should come from, not from what others think of you or your job. What do you think? Well, I think both your friend and the alternative position are both wrong. I mean, I don't know what intrinsic value means. You have value to yourself, or you should have value to yourself. You should value you. But you should value you for a reason, not just because because it's you, and you have the opportunity to live, and you have an opportunity for joy and happiness and pleasure and success. You have an opportunity to enjoy life. So everybody, your self-esteem should come not just because you exist. Your self-esteem kind of comes from knowledge and conviction and understanding that you are good, or you have the potential to be good, and that you're worthy in a sense of happiness, that you can live in this world, this world, that you can earn values, that you can achieve, you can succeed. Self-esteem should come from you achieving your values. Indeed, self-esteem has nothing to do with others, nothing to do with what other people think of you, nothing to do with what other people think of your job, what other people think of your anything, of your value. It's all about what you think of yourself. It's all about how you esteem yourself. And it's not automatic, so it's not intrinsic in the sense that it's automatic. You have to earn the esteem. And you earn that esteem by choosing life-affirming values and achieving them. And knowing and proving to yourself through this achievement that they are achievable, that you can achieve them. That's where self-esteem comes from. So, I think your friend is closer, but he's still wrong. It's not automatic. I know lots and lots and lots of people who don't esteem themselves. But he is right in the sense that it has nothing to do with other people. Nothing to do with other people. All right, I'm sorry, I keep switching and checking what is being said out there. You get condolences from all sides, but you're also, I'm sure, getting kind of ugly celebrations from the left. But political violence is evil. It's evil. I'm very worried about this country. All right, Michael, do intellectuals think elimination of the welfare state is a form of eugenics? Is it in a way? No, I don't think they think that. There might be some people who think that, but no, I don't think that, and I don't think it is. There's no eugenics involved here because I don't think the welfare state is correlated with genes. I think the welfare state is correlated with culture, correlated with attitude, correlated with, and what you're killing is not people, you're killing a culture, you're killing an attitude. And people won't die if there isn't a welfare state. It's not like people were dying in the streets of America when there wasn't a welfare state. So eliminating the welfare state is not going to solve. It's not an issue of eugenics. It's an issue of justice. It's an issue of both justice in terms of the money you're taking from some people to give to others, and an issue of justice vis-a-vis the people you're giving the money to, who you're basically helping institutionalize into poverty. So it's wrong for both, but it's absolutely wrong. It's absolutely wrong to think of it in terms of eugenics. It has nothing to do with eugenics. Henrik Nightingale, has Israel done anything of the negative things West accuses it of? Can Israel be blamed for the suffering in Gaza by not having ended it faster? So has Israel done anything of the negative things the West accuses it? You'd have to give me a list. Israel has done a lot of the things that it's being accused of, but it's justified in doing it. So a lot of the things that the West says Israel's doing, it's doing. children are dying. Civilians are dying. There's no question about that. The lives of Gazans are hell right now. There's no question about that. So Israel's doing all that. But my point is, it's justified in doing that. And indeed justified in doing a lot more than that. You'd have to give me a list. A lot of what the West accuses Israel of doing, it isn't doing. It just isn't doing. It just makes stuff up. So it's a mixed bag. The question is not, justification. The question partially is Israel justified in doing it? Is it right for it to do it? And look, Israel's not perfect. Israel does a lot of bad things. Certainly, some of the things it's doing on the West Bank, certainly what the settlers are doing in the West Bank, attacking Arabs, is wrong. And the Israeli state should be coming down much harder on those settlers and prosecuting them. But overall, Israel are the good guys here. So that doesn't mean when you say Israel are the good guys that every single action it takes is right. It just means overall they're the good guys, and overall the Palestinians here are the bad guys. Can Israel be blamed for the suffering in Gaza by not having ended it faster? Well, it's a crazy way to put it. Let me be very direct here. I don't care about the suffering in Gaza. The suffering in Gaza, at whatever level is occurring, for however long it happens, is a consequence of Hamas's action. It's morally the responsibility of Hamas. So I would say, can Israel be blamed for the death of its soldiers by not having ended it faster? Yes, that's the blame. But the suffering in Gaza is, why are you concerned about it? Why do you care? Why do you care? And to the extent that you care, why do you blame Israel for any of it? For any of it? Every single bit of that suffering is on Hamas. If Israel would have done it fast, it would have been blamed for doing it fast. If Israel does it slow, it's blamed for doing it slow. Israel is going to be blamed no matter what. The question is, who is responsible? Who made Gaza what it is? Who brought it to this brink of destruction? Or not just the brink, to destruction. Hamas. That's all you need to know. So, many people in Gaza, granted, they are innocents like children, many people in Gaza are getting what they deserve. They're getting the consequence of decisions they've made for years. They're getting the consequences for the leadership they chose and supported. They're getting the consequences for the fact that they cheered and supported the murder, rape, and slaughter of Israelis, and then cheered and supported as hostages were brought back to Gaza. They were there cheering and supporting. Now, not all of them, but many of them cheered and supported even though they weren't caught on camera. So I have no sympathy for the Gazans, and to the extent that the children involved, that's on Hamas. And it's on their parents. It's their fault. Unless you can say, oh no, I fought against Hamas. I objected to what Hamas was doing in the Gaza Strip. Then I have sympathy for you. Everybody else, I just don't have sympathy for you. It doesn't mean they all deserve to die, but it does mean that the suffering is self-inflicted. All right. Michael, I just watched up-close video, stomach churning. Yeah, I keep telling you not to watch the video. People keep doing it. Neocon, I'm disgusted by how both right and left politicize the stabbing of the Ukrainian, fueling racism. As someone who is pro-Ukraine, this is appalling. It's appalling whether you're pro-Ukraine or not. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant to Ukraine. It's appalling that they've taken this and politicized it. It's appalling that the left tolerates this and that the right makes it into politics. All right, I'm going to make another appeal because we're not kind of meeting our targets. Just to remind you that this show is only possible because of you guys. So there's 200 people watching it right now. We should have, a lot of people supporting the show because you're here. It means you value something about the show. It means you value something about my presentation of the news. Trade with me. Show that you value your show. Do a $2 sticker, a $1 sticker, $3 sticker. It's not a lot, just something to express the fact that you value being here. Tom says, I hope you're enjoying your European trip. I am. Thank you, Tom. Really appreciate it. Fred Harper says, mosquito has everything to gain from Yaron. Yaron has nothing to gain from killing the mosquito. I do. It's distracting me, and it ultimately will bite me and cause me pain. So I have everything to gain by killing it. I killed one, but there's a second one here. And who knows, there might be 3, 4, 5, 6, who knows how many there are here. I need to bring a spray or something. James, what does it mean for him to be shot in a conservative state and it is one of the top 20 safest in the United States? How does this impact future college speakers? I don't know what that has to do with anything. It's also a state that has pretty, pretty loose gun laws. That allows people to carry and allows people to own guns pretty easily. So in that sense, a conservative state. I don't know what conservative state has anything to do with this, right? Conservative states have lots of crazy people, leftists, who might want to take him out, and it's easier to take him out in a conservative state because the gun laws are easier, right? So it's not clear to me exactly what point you're trying to highlight. I mean, I would highlight the point of it's not about red or blue. It never has been. This is the point about politicizing the North Carolina. The question is, crime is actually in a decline in the United States. It's lower, murder rates are lower. But if you want to commit a political crime in the United States, you can do it. Guns are easy to attain. You just go to wherever the politician is and you go up and you get close and you shoot him. And here, the shot was taken from 200 yards. But there are plenty of Americans who can go to a firing range and train and figure out how to shoot somebody 200 yards away. So this is not hard. This is easy. And way you do it, the state you do it. It's not like, I mean, some of the least safe states are red states. Alabama, Mississippi, Missouri, St. Louis, Kansas City, states. I mean, cities and states that are red. Blue and red have nothing to do with this. The fact that it's one of the safest places in the United States has nothing to do with it. Even the safest place in the United States has some murders, some crime, some violence. Now, does it impact future college speakers? It has to, right? I mean, colleges are going to have to think about how they're going to provide security, and people are going to have to think about going out, particularly large audiences like this. And if you're particularly controversial, or in this case, I don't think it's an issue of being particularly controversial. If you're on the right-left split, right? There are lots of us out there who are controversial. Nobody's coming after me. Nobody's coming after, a lot of people because we're just not big enough, and we're not controversial on the right issues, right? We're not controversial on this left-right split. And if you're controversial on the left-right split, beware. But again, it's going to be interesting to see what the response to this is and how the U.S. responds. After the CEO of United Health was murdered, did we see a big increase in murders of CEOs of other companies? We didn't. And I hope we don't. Is this an indication that it's now less safe? Is this an indication there's going to be more of this? Probably not. It's still probably a one-off. It's probably some leftist crazy like Mangione who killed that CEO, who wanted to make a statement. But I don't see this as the beginning of a big spat of this, other than you could see kind of a tit for tat, response. And that's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of kind of the responses, the increase more broadly in political violence that might happen in the United States. So I don't see this as a wave now of people being shot who go to university campuses. I don't think that at all. If anything, security is going to be tighter. All right, thank you, Henry. Thank you, Jeffrey. These are all people doing stickers and trading, showing their appreciation for the show. E. Deman, Applejack, Thought Criminal, Mary Aline, Jacob, and Martin. And yeah, thank you guys. Really appreciate the stickers. Keep them coming, guys. You can do $2, $1, $10, $500. But whatever to show, again, value for value. All right, Fend Harper. PSA. Don Watkins' Effective Egoism is on Audible for $8. A great summary of how to pursue happiness, including a part on free will. Yeah, $8 Audible for Effective Egoism. That seems like an amazing deal. All of you guys should buy it. You can get it on Amazon. It's called Effective Altruism by Don Watkins. So check it out. Thank you, Fend Harper, for doing the public service announcement. It's incredibly valuable. Okay, we have one last question. So if you want to ask me a question, now's the time to do it. Now's the time to do it. So jump in. Shauna Thornton says, we also don't know if the criminal was a leftist. We don't. I'm assuming, we're talking about the person who shot Charlie Kirk. I'm assuming it was. I'm assuming it was politically motivated, because why else would a sniper be at a public event shooting Charlie Kirk? So I'm assuming it's political. The right loves Charlie Kirk, so I assume it's not somebody on the right who has a political beef with Charlie. So I think it's a safe assumption it's somebody from the left. It could just be a nutcase. It could be just somebody looking for attention, like the person who tried to shoot Donald Trump. It's not clear that guy was a leftist. It's not clear what he was. But, we will see. Confirmation for what? I'm not sure what. Ian says, why is the only confirmation of this still Trump's statement? Is the media completely incapable of doing their job? No, I mean, there's been confirmation from a bunch of people, a bunch of news sources, including the Wall Street Journal. I don't think that just came from Trump. Yeah, I mean, here's the last interaction that Charlie had. And this is the kind of issues that, for whatever reason, really, really gets people. Audience member, do you know how many transgender Americans have been mass shooters over the last 10 years? Cook says, too many. Same audience member says, no, the number's 5. And then asks Charlie if he knows how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years. Cook says, counting or not counting gang violence. And the guy says the number is 5,700. And I don't know if that includes mass violence or not. That's when he shot. So, I mean, it's completely messed up. It should never come to this. Violence is not the solution. What we need is more speech, more robust speech. What we need is more debate, more interaction. I will say that on the front of debate, I was approached yesterday, we'll see if this pans out, by an organization, a very prominent organization in the UK, a media organization in the UK that wants to start hosting large debates in the UK, and asked me if I would participate in a debate with potentially 2 different debates, one on Donald Trump and one on, this is a conservative organization, by the way, one on Donald Trump and one on capitalism or tariffs. So stay tuned. If anything comes of it, I will let you know. But what we need are robust debates, and what we need is speech. We need more speech, less violence, more speech, more engagement, more dialogue, and more disagreement, more and the willingness to disagree while recognizing, while morally judging people. Morally judging people doesn't mean they should be shot. If you morally judge somebody negatively. The CBS story quotes Donald Trump. I don't know if the Wall Street Journal was quoting Donald Trump. I don't know who's quoting whom. So I don't know. I assume this is being verified by the media beyond just quoting Donald Trump, or they wouldn't be doing it. Frank says $50 in memory of Charlie Kirk, an exemplary example of the power of free speech, respect for facts, and no-nonsense business-like epistemology. I mean, I agree with that up to a point. I hate to say ill of the murdered, but I don't think he had a great epistemology. I think he was way too reliant on religion. I think he did not. He respected facts up to a point where it did not conflict with his particular mystical beliefs. And there's a lot of issues where he was completely, utterly wrong on, and where he deviated from the facts significantly. But again, I have an enormous amount of respect for what Charlie built, created. The fact that he was willing to go out there and debate and engage and participate in the debate. He didn't shy away from confrontation, and he was calm and collect in front of an audience. You didn't see him yelling and losing his cool. He exhibited the positive traits of being good at debate, even when his epistemology was significantly flawed. He often engaged in, I think, pretty false and bad reasoning. Again, that is not to say anything about the fact that I disagreed with him. I'm still unbelievably shocked and saddened by his being murdered. It really is horrific. RDF, thank you for the sticker. Really appreciate that. All right, let's see. Just looking at the chat to see if there's anything of interest. But yeah. All right. Let's see how this plays out. We will be talking about this, I think, for the next few days. We will be analyzing the consequences, and I think there will be consequences. We'll see how they play out. I don't think anything good is going to come of this. If sadly there are no adults in the room to turn this into a teaching moment or a learning moment to calm things down, so I see nothing but negative consequences. All right, just checking to see if there's anything else. It is, Noah Smith says that this is the first assassination of a major media figure that we've seen in the last decade. I mean, that strikes me as true. I don't know if it's true. I can't think of anybody else who was shot, assassinated, killed in the last decade, a public figure. So it would be if somebody knows something different, then let me know. Right. I mean, this is I'll just say it's a big blow to the new right and to to the cause of MAGA and to the cause of the right. I mean, Charlie was a rising star. He probably could have run for president. He was definitely one of the superstars on the right, and you know, yeah. I mean, he's literally answering a question about violence when he was shot, and a lot of people on the right are furious, really, really upset, really, really angry, and one wonders. I'm just scrolling through this. I'm wondering how that you know plays out in what happens now. Statement out from Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro also met Charlie when he was 18 years old. Yeah, I mean, Charlie was an impressive guy. All right. We will call that a night. Again, if you want to support the Yaron Brook Show, a lot of you are here, a lot of you are watching. If you'd like to support the Yaron Brook Show, please do so. Patreon.com. Just put Yaron Brook Show and become a monthly supporter. You obviously value some of what we do here. You know, sadly, there's going to be reason for you to keep coming back to this as I don't think things are going to calm down. I think things are going to get worse and not better for quite a while. So think about the trade. All right. Yep, it's really sad. All right, I will see you all tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a little later than today. Yeah, you're seeing the entire, I'm just looking, the entire kind of right globally come out, you know, from Netanyahu to Boris Johnson to Pierre Poilievre come out and condemn the murder. This is how big Charlie was. I mean, he was a big deal. That people all over the world are commenting on this, not just in America. I mean, he had a huge impact. Yeah, I mean, Obama has come out and condemned this despicable violence, you know, so I mean, you know, it's the right thing to do. I hope everybody does it. There will be people who don't, and they are really nasty, evil people. Yeah, there's. All right. See you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.